We're just family here. I mean, so not a lot of people, so let's make this cozy. Are you guys having fun? That didn't sound very, Are you guys having fun or not? So you need a coffee, man. That's what you need. Okay, so my name is Alex. I'm going to be the host of this stage until the end of the day and tomorrow and on Friday. So you'll see me if you're around. So it's been a pleasure joining you guys. And without further ado, we're going to introduce our next panel. We're going to talk about the evolution of mobility. Are you guys ready? Rock and roll. Rock and roll. Oh, come on. I know it's siesta time, okay? But let's try it one more time, okay? Rock and roll. I won't start until we get this right, okay? So, rock and roll? Yeah. There we go. So please welcome the moderator and the two speakers, Nicolas Rubio from Thintra, Operation Director at Thintra. Big applause. Shmuel Shafet, General Partner at Target Global. Shmuel. And last but not least, please, big applause to Berta Barrero, Managing Director, Transportation Business at Indra. Big applause, guys. Take your places.
Take the middle. Thank you very much, and you can relax. I'm not going to make any questions, and you don't have to shout or say you like it or not. We're going to talk today about the evolution of mobility, and I'm here with two people that are going to provide us interesting insights on this. Berta Barrero is the Managing Director of the Transportation business in Indra. Indra is, I would say, the leading, if not the only, large technological company in Spain. And she will explain to us a little bit more what they do and their vision on transportation. And Shmuel Chafetz is a general partner at Target Global. Target Global is an investor in many startups, and including in mobility. And again, Shlomo will tell us about that. My name is Nicolas Rubio. I'm head of operations at Sintra. Sintra is a global toll road developer. And I'm going to start the discussion by explaining for us as a long-term investor in toll roads, what is going to happen with mobility on the long term is a very important subject. There are a number of things that are happening. There's an amazing change in technology. There is a change in the way the society is organized, the collaborative economy, the Ubers and so on. And there's a change in trends in what the new generations are, the way new generations are moving around. And that is completely changing the mobility. Many people, or there is a sort of urban tale that new technologies and new trends are going to ease congestion in the cities. And when you look at the data, what you see is exactly the opposite happening. Average speeds in New York dropped by 18% in 3 years. And the number of cars in our streets is growing dramatically in terms of cars driving in the streets and congestion building up. Same thing is happening with logistics. As soon as you take prices down, demand is going up, and we have a challenge, and we need to face that challenge. So I'm going to start with Berta. Berta, maybe you want to introduce yourself and your company, and what I wanted you to focus on today is how do you see technology trends fostering the new concept of mobility?
Well, hello everybody. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you, sharing our point of view regarding the future of mobility. Well, Indra, I'm the managing director from the transportation division at Indra. Indra it's a leader in all regarding new technologies of ticketing, system control, network, all kind of operational system that can help to the operators and at the end the final user to get a good experience in transportation. From our perspective, I think that to speak about the future of mobility is to speak about a continuous processes of changing, because mobility is changing, it's an ongoing process of changing because of two main factors. One of them because the needs of users and the final user and expectation of this final user are rapidly changing. The other thing is because the technology, the new technologies can help to operators and also to the user to achieve a new experience all around the operational activities and services that needs to satisfy user expectation. Because of that, first of all, mobility is always changing because needs are changing, and technology can help to reach this expectation. The other point is now to speak about mobility is not only a question of wider and wider infrastructures and transports or faster and faster vehicles. It's a question on how technology can put intelligence and can offer new services around all of this scenario. Because of that, I think the main driver of the future of mobility are all the new technologies that are coming up in this moment to put a disruptive moment in every stakeholders in the transport sector. What kind of new situation can help technology? For example, three are the main basis of a decision maker of the final user. It's a question of time, a question of price, and a question of experience. And new technologies are always looking for different ways to provide faster and faster means and opportunities for transport with the most reduced cost price to the user, and with the best experience during the journey in terms of safety, security, comfort, and overall, at the end, information. And with all of these names like time, price, experience, security, and safety, all around this concept is working technology to help to all the stakeholders, mainly operators like tolling concessionaires, railway operators, bus companies, and new platform of global services with mobility are using technology to reach these main objectives.
Thank you, Berta. So this amount of technology that is changing and trends that are completely changing mobility and logistics, I guess, are opening the window for opportunities to invest. Where do you see opportunities in the world of mobility? What kind of companies are you looking at? Shlomo.
So, we're a European investment firm. We look at investments from early stage to late stage in Europe and in Israel. And this year, we launched a new fund focused solely on mobility and logistics. And the reason we did mobility and logistics is because we look at them as sort of intertwined themes, particularly because the infrastructure is one. And I think that that's a big part of the way that we like to look at this space right now. Clearly it's changing dramatically. It's almost all-encompassing, right? Mobility, it's a big word. It's very buzzy right now. But it's a huge market comprised of 5 or 6 subsectors, all of them also tremendous in their own. There are a few things that are very clear to look at, like autonomous driving, like ride sharing, ride hailing. About those, particularly about autonomous driving, I tend to think that people have a tendency to underestimate long-term innovation, but to overestimate the short-term innovation. I think it's going to be a very long time until autonomous driving really impacts the way that we interact with the world. It'll start slow, eventually it'll pick up, but I think for the next sort of foreseeable future, we're just going to have to make do with what we have, with the infrastructure that we have. There's a lot of money invested in the roads, in the car parks, in the actual factories, so there's a big infrastructure that we're just going to have to get more usage out of. Because I think, as you mentioned, another billion people are going to have cars, are going to want to have cars, are going to want to travel independently in the next sort of 10, 15 years. And that's going to create a lot of pressure on the system. And together with them, the move of commerce to online commerce makes logistics much, much bigger drain on the same shared resources for transportation. So I think that, and this is a very long-winded answer, by the way, but as a general theme, we try to look at yield optimization and how do we get efficiency out of the existing resources out there as a precursor to sort of exponential innovation that comes with autonomous driving, with more, let's say, complicated flying cars. Although we did also invest in a flying car company, so but that might be a little farther out there. So I think generally speaking, we try to look at the optimization layer right now. How do you take existing infrastructure and just put more on it? The extra billion cars, the extra whatever billions of deliveries per year.
Thank you. I have to say that Sintra is part of Ferrovial, which is one of the companies sponsoring this event. And Ferrovial has an investment in Atomico, which is a fund, and also is investing in a flying cars company. So I didn't know we were competing or we were working on the same area.
We looked at a bunch of them. I went to see one in Eastern Europe, and they promised me a demo, and I came there, and it turned out it crashed the same day. So that framed my view on the flying car space forever, probably.
So you've mentioned the more technological startups like autonomous driving. Are you also looking and investing in startups that are more on the behavior of the users, on collaborative economy?
Of course. I mean, it's important theme. So if you look at car sharing and all that sort of sharing economy piece, but I still think it's rather limited. I think in the short term, that's still going to be limited to some urban centers, to very particular type of population. I think what we're going to start to see more and more is mobility as a service, where you buy into some sort of, and this is again for more urban areas, you buy into the ability to move around, and then the service provider lets you access sort of a variety of different vehicles. Because really we today consume mobility for the worst case scenario. So you have 6 seats in your car because you have 3 kids and they might have friends and you might want to go out of town to visit your parents, but day to day you're driving to work alone. And I think if you look at optimization, that's the first problem that needs to be solved. How do we convince you to use a small car when you're going into town and then have a big car that's accessible to you when you actually need it? And accessible in the way that I think people don't like to give up optionality. That's the biggest problem of sort of shared mobility today. People really don't like to give up optionality, so they don't give up their car, they also use an Uber. And it makes cities like New York more complicated, not less complicated. And now the big challenge of that world is making it efficient enough for you to give up your car, even when you've passed this sort of 25-year-old living in the center of the city, don't care about anything phase of life.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Berta, I mean, Indra is a wide transversal technological company. You do defense, you do transportation, you do software development. With all your skills and your capacities, where do you see opportunities in mobility? In which areas of mobility is Indra investing or willing to devote time and resources?
Well, you're right. Indra, we are investing in several lines of new solutions and products to get solution for 2 questions. Optimization of the operational cost of the manager infrastructure and the operations. for example, with technologies with deep learning, machine learning, augmented reality that helps to the operators to analyze the real situation and to implement new maintenance procedures. Another line is with big data and fog and cloud computing, try to find solutions to improve the user experience and to help our customers to be more profitable in the service providing. For example, I think there are many areas where with technology we can improve not only the performance of the services, but also the experience for the user, the final user. We are working very hard also in how to analyze with predictive tools improvements in maintenance, and also how to, with machine learning, help to operators to foresee new routes or optimization of fleets. I think there are many places to work on that. But I would like to say that I think there is a challenge that it's not only a question of if I want to have a car on my own or not. I think that technology could be will allow almost everything in this opportunity that you have mentioned. But there is a real challenge. We have all the stakeholders, technology companies, investment funds, operators, that is how to combine the speed of changing of the technologies and new opportunities with the real situation of legacy resources, structures of companies, assets, infrastructures. I think that we need to find the real balance to prepare the society and to prepare the regulatory bodies, the public authorities, and the operators to achieve this goal that you have mentioned. But if we not combine the time in a kind of dancing, I think we'll be faced with stoppers from authorities, operators. I think this is a challenge. I think this is the real challenge.
Yeah, I mean, I think that speaking of that, it's important to remember that more people use bicycles to commute than cars, and that in some places, some parts of the world, not that far from here, people still functionally use horses and donkeys and for transportation. And if we look at this vision of everybody, I mean, if the transformation would be everybody has his own car, it will be a disaster in any respect. That can't be sustained. So eventually, there has to be a jump from personal mobility to shared mobility or mobility as a service, just as a question of the ability to provide that service to everybody in the world. That's a service. The sort of American suburban, have a big car in your in your driveway and another car for your wife. That's not going to work globally. That's not going to be a sustainable solution. So everybody in this industry will eventually have to move to the more shared mobility, to the more mobility on demand, mobility as a service model, just for resources.
Thank you. I think both of you were, at the end of the day, saying something similar when you said that people tend to overestimate the short-term innovation, and we're saying that we need to still look at the assets we have got and the business we have got. I think at the end of the day, those are similar things. It's too easy to just think things are going to change completely and forget what we have on our hands than to try to optimize what we have on our hands. We have 1 minute to go, and I'm going to ask you one last question. This is, Shmuel, you were telling me that you enjoy very much Spain, and I guess that there are some people here with ideas, with startups. What kind of idea would you enjoy hearing today in the corridors that would make you think seriously in investing in a startup?
A good one, first of all. So we invest from seed to late stage, so from 250,000 euros to 25 million, all across Europe. Mobility is a big theme for us. Software as a service, and particularly SMB, software as a service is a big theme for us. Fintech is a big theme for us, and also marketplaces and everything internet-enabled is a big theme for us. So anything of that sort would be interesting to hear.
And Berta, would you partner with a startup that you find here in a corridor? What kind of a startup you'd like to cross in a corridor that would make you think, well, maybe we can team up with these guys?
Well, startups that are working on big data, artificial intelligence, and machine learning to help us to provide new solutions of our customers.
Okay. Thank you. So you know, guys, what you have to do. Thanks a lot, and I think this is all. Thank you.